She was 20, and she was married against her family's wishes, full of hope, full of dreams, full of love. She believed that love could change everything. Then one day, she vanished. The whispers began. Did she run away, or was something darker at work? For 2 long years, her family lived without answers. 2 years of silence, of searching, of hope slowly fading into despair. Until one day, a confession changed everything. Her name was Sangita Katara, and this is her story. Sangita came from Dahod district, a quiet town where red soil met endless fields. The air carried the sound of temple bells and laughter. People knew one another by name. She was gentle, soft-spoken, the kind of woman whose smile could silence a storm. But she was also strong, the kind of strong that doesn't need to shout. When she met Bhavesh Katara, she thought she had found her forever. He was a young mason, humble, hard-working, from a nearby village. They met by chance, and what began as shy glances soon became secret conversations, promises whispered under the stars. Her family didn't approve, his didn't either. But love doesn't always wait for permission. So, in 2022, despite the disapproval, they married. It wasn't a grand affair, no gold jewelry, no music, no lavish feast, just 2 hearts and a promise. At first, things seemed perfect. Sangita told her friends that Bhavesh made her laugh, that he brought her tea every morning, that he said she was his peace. They planned to save for a small home, a home with flowers by the door, and laughter in every room. But fairy tales often hide their cracks. As the months passed, Bhavesh began to change. His temper grew sharp, his words turned heavy. What once sounded like love began to sound like control. He questioned her every move, where she went, who she spoke to, why she wasn't more obedient. Neighbors began to notice the shouting. Some said they heard things fall, others said they heard crying. Her parents noticed too, not in her words, but in her silence. She stopped talking about joy. She only talked about peace. One morning, she returned to her parents' home. She said she needed time to think, to breathe. Her mother begged her to stay, but Bhavesh came after her, tearful, apologetic, begging for forgiveness, promising he would change, and she believed him. Because when you love someone, you want to believe. So, when he asked her to meet him one last time, she said yes. That meeting would be her last. It was February 12th, 2023. Villagers near Nanabhandaria saw them walking together that morning. She carried a small bag. He carried her shawl. They looked like a couple trying to begin again. By evening, Bhavesh returned home, alone. When Sangita's parents called, her phone rang endlessly, then stopped. They tried again and again, but no answer ever came. When they went to confront Bhavesh, his expression was cold. He told them Sangita had left him, that she had run away, that she'd fallen in love with someone else. He said it so calmly, so confidently, that for a moment, they almost believed him. But a mother always knows. Her mother went to the police, filed a missing person report, begged them to search. But without evidence, without a body, the police dismissed it. They said it was a domestic issue. They believed Bhavesh. Weeks turned to months. Seasons changed. People moved on. Bhavesh did too. He went to work, attended family gatherings, laughed with friends. He lived as if nothing had happened. Sometimes he even mocked her family, saying, "She'll come back when she's tired of her new life." But guilt has a heartbeat. It never truly dies. 2 years passed. Then, in early 2025, the truth began to rise from the earth itself. Farmers near a dam outside Nanabhandaria noticed something strange, a piece of cloth tangled beneath dry brush, half buried in mud and stone. At first, they thought it was garbage, but as they looked closer, they froze. What they found wasn't fabric. It was bone. The police arrived quickly. They dug carefully, uncovering what remained of a human body decomposed, wrapped in a torn sari, hidden beneath stones. The silence that followed was heavy. Days later, DNA tests confirmed what her mother had always known. A mother always knows. The remains belonged to Sangita Katara. Her mother wept until her voice broke. Her father sat in silence, his eyes fixed on the floor. 2 years of searching ended in one cruel sentence. She had never run away. She had never chosen to leave. She had been there all along, buried beneath the soil of her own village. When Bhavesh was questioned again, he repeated his lie. He said she'd left him, that he knew nothing. But this time, the evidence was too loud. The cloth, the jewelry, the location, all of it pointed to him. Investigators pressed harder. They followed his phone records. They traced his movements. They reconstructed the last day she was seen alive. Every path led back to him. After hours of questioning, Bhavesh's mask finally cracked. His voice trembled. His eyes dropped. And then, he confessed. He said they had argued that night about jealousy, about respect, about control. He claimed she had insulted him, threatened to leave him for good. And in that moment, he snapped. He strangled her. When the reality of what he'd done sank in, panic took over. He carried her body to the dam, covered her with stones, and walked away wiping his hands clean as if the night could erase what he had done. For 2 years, he lived freely. He ate, slept, worked, laughed, while her body lay beneath the soil. Every time someone asked where she was, he spun another lie. She left. She ran away. She's with someone else. But the truth never dies. It waits. And when it rises, it burns everything in its path. When news of the discovery spread, the town of Amreli fell silent. People whispered her name. They remembered her laughter. They remembered her kindness. And they remembered how no one had believed her family. Neighbors who once ignored the screams now turned away in shame. Some said, "We never thought it would come to this." Her mother stood before reporters, tears streaming down her face, and said, "My daughter didn't run away. She was taken from us." Her words cut through the noise like thunder. The case reignited national outrage, not just because of what happened to Sangita, but because it happens too often. Too many women vanish quietly, their disappearances written off as choices, their stories buried before they're ever told. Sangita became a symbol. Her name carried the weight of every silenced woman, every unanswered call, every mother waiting for justice. The police charged Bhavesh with murder and destruction of evidence. People gathered outside the courthouse, candles flickering in the wind. They held up her photograph, the one from her wedding day, where she smiled in red and gold, unaware that the man beside her would one day become her killer. The prosecutor stood before the crowd and said, "This is not a crime of passion. This is a crime of possession, of control, of ego." And those words echoed far beyond the courtroom. Because this wasn't just Sangita's story. It was a mirror held up to a society that too often tells women to stay quiet, to forgive, to endure. Sangita's story forced people to look, to truly see what silence can cost. Bhavesh's confession wasn't born of guilt. It was born of inevitability. The truth had cornered him, and he could no longer outrun it. For Sangita's family, the confession brought closure, but not peace. Because closure is not justice. It's just the end of searching. Today, her parents keep her photograph by the window. Every morning, her mother lights a small candle beside it. She says it helps her feel close to her daughter. That may be somewhere beyond all this pain. Sangita finally rests in peace. Her story reminds us that love can build, or it can destroy. That silence can protect the guilty. That truth may take years, but it never stays buried forever. Because guilt can hide in shadows, but it cannot escape the light. If you believe stories like Sangita's deserve to be remembered, if you believe every silence deserves a voice, then subscribe for more.